All right, region. Region is a basic command, and what region does is it takes a set of lines, circles, or arcs, as you see here, a bunch of lines, circles, and arcs, and it makes those individual lines, circles, and arcs of a closed figure into one object that you can extrude into a solid. So, for example, have these different lines, circles, and arcs. I am on a conceptual view. I'm going to go ahead and go region, and I'm going to region these first four. Now, notice these first two, it regioned no problem. Those made regions. I can now extrude those into a solid. But these two, it didn't region them. The reason these did not region is these are not closed figures. Closed figures meaning one individual line that goes all the way around the perimeter and creates one object. Now, the reason these did not work is, if I zoom in on this and look around, do you see anything odd about this one? Well, this one, if you notice right up here on the top, that line is sticking up there past a little bit. That won't work. It's not one line that makes up the exterior of it. So I'm going to trim off that one line, and I'm now going to region this one, and notice it regions just fine. So very similar. This one, somewhere there's an issue with this. So we're going to zoom in here, going to look at this a little bit, and I see, there, these lines don't meet. They overlap. So if I trim these off, just like that, go ahead and region, and this will region no problem. Now, sometimes you have a more complex object, and maybe the mistake is very, very minute, and you can't tell where the mistake is. So on this, if I zoom in here on this, and I look around, I might search for a long time. I might take 10 minutes or 15 minutes searching and not be able to find the error on it. So on this, what you do is you need to break it into smaller pieces. So to do that, if you draw a line from the end of one line or arc to the end of another line or arc. So I have my O-snap set just to end point. So I'm going to draw a line from that end point to that end point. And I think I'll do it over here on this side too. That end point to that end point. So now if I go region, I can really quickly narrow down where my issue is. Region. Okay, so all of this was okay. My error is somewhere in this area. So what I need to do now is I need to move this away a little bit. I'm just going to move it straight down. I'm going to close off this end with a line. And then I'm going to come in here and draw another line in between there and there, kind of dividing that in half. And I'm going to try to region this part of it. Okay, again, the bottom half worked, the top half did not. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to move it from that end point to that end point, kind of putting this thing back together. Once again, I have to put a line between here and here. And now I'm going to draw another line. I'm just going to kind of divide this in half again and region this. Okay, narrowing it down even more. Move that back together. Going to come in here, I'm going to narrow it down one more time, and then I'm going to call this good. And I should be able to try to find my error. Okay, once again, this one I'm just going to move it away. Going to add my line between the two. So now my error is in here somewhere. So I just have to zoom in here and try to find the error. Okay, I don't have very many intersections to look through. Still not seeing it. Sometimes if I highlight the grips on it, it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to zoom in on my grips. Notice that one. I see this one, it doesn't match. So I'm going to grab that. I can either grab it and move the grip, or I can just trim off this little piece, trim that off. Now let me see if I can region this portion of it. Region's just fine. Now all I have to do is I have to move these things and put them back together. Put this one back down to there. Move that one back down to there. Now this is all back together into one, but it's made up of several parts. So I want to union it together. And now I can make those into solids. And it really was kind of that easy. You've got to narrow it down and find where your issue is if it will not region. All right, good luck.